Gen Z, I gotta say, is pretty gay. A record 7.6% of U.S. adults now identify as LGBTQ+, and Gen Z is by far more likely to identify as LGBTQ+ than any other generation. So we're talking about 22.3% of Generation Z identify as LGBTQ+. The closest one to it are millennials with 9.8%. The silent generation really bringing up the rear at 1.1%. Logan, why did this one jump off the page to you?
Well, first I want to say sorry to our peers when they've complained about dating. I didn't realize how bad it was. It's because the dating pool is actually smaller, apparently. I mean, like, gosh, it's tough out there to be a Gen Zer trying to find a spouse.
If we follow this trajectory, we will all be gay in 2054.
The Gen Z generation, like, they want to be seen. They want to be a part of something. Like, there's like this like very loving, touchy-feely vibe, very emotional. I think that most Gen Zers can recognize. And I think the LGBTQ community gives an identity to people who feel like they're searching for something. And maybe that something is God and they should redirect, but who am I to say?
Well, part of it is that, like, when I'm Generation X, okay, so then I remember the analog days. I remember people using VCRs and all this other stuff. And then the internet was a thing that happened, in my adulthood. And, you go online and you create like a username and you upload a photo or something like that. And so what happens that, I mean, for me, it was just like, okay, here's a mugshot of my bald head and here's my name and whatnot. That's okay. But of course, a lot of people look at that and they come up with an interesting name and they think of themselves as a different identity. What's my identity as I go online, as I go digitally?
On all levels except physical, I am a wolf.
And so there's that thought like, well, I somehow am the creator of this identity and I can be whoever I want to as I communicate with other people digitally. And if you get too obsessed with that kind of screen life, you can think that you can alter somehow your own body that same way and just it can be whatever you want it to be. That is obviously not true. And we're finding out now people are going through, these life-altering surgeries, and it doesn't work as easily as it does an online avatar.
It seems like in a time with heightened anxiety, people are looking to go to groups that make them feel comfortable. They're seeking a type of assurance. And so for Catholics, which is natural, and for Catholics, if we have an assurance that, the battle's already won, we have a community of people that we can worship together, we can lean on each other. We, of course, are supported by the graces present in the sacraments. That leads to like a lower anxiety where I don't feel like I need to go create an identity or I need to be someone who I'm not. I can just exist. I already know who I am, basically. And so I have to say, though, I think that the marketing campaign of like the LGBTQ community has been phenomenal and is probably worth learning a little bit from, because they've so aggressively sought out people that feel lost and present their lifestyle, their community as one that will make them safe, as one that will make them feel who they really are. They can be who they really are. It's complete evangelization. And I actually think in a lot of ways, Catholics have failed in that, or maybe conservatives have failed in that.
I was invited on Fox News and there was a segment on there and I actually made the comment about how, like, well, you see the bumper stickers, the rainbow crowd, they are a big time evangelists. I just sometimes wonder if Christians were as good evangelists as the rainbow crowd, we would truly retake back this country. And even though Fox is a conservative channel, I was never invited back again after I made that comment.
Yeah, but I think there's a lot to learn there. I guess the more and more I see today there's two ways to look at things. It's like, well, LGBTQ youth on the rise. It's like, oh, that can make me sad and I could be angry about that. Or I could maybe learn from some tactics of successful groups. Like if you look at that, they've been very successful. All right, so now how are we going to take some of the tools that they've used from success to offer people a path, like a lifeline to a lifestyle will actually make them happy? And because I truly do believe like what the Catholic Church is saying is true and will make you feel fulfilled and will make you happiest. And I know what won't make you happy is being sterile, not being able to have kids, all the diseases that come with lifestyles like that. It really makes me sad, but it's like, I need to sit like, how are we losing? How can we do better? I don't know. Logan, I don't know if you have anything too. I mean, we're of course both Gen Z, but what would you say like the best way in your mind is to start pushing back against some of that, maybe offering people a lifeline?
Polygamy is the norm in the LGBTQ community. And I think that you're seeing a shift in some people who don't want that. I think Gen Zers, I was reading a study the other day, Gen Zers don't want to accept the polygamous nature of the gay community. And so it's kind of like saying, okay, well, you obviously have issues with big parts of this community, big parts of what it's based upon. Why is this community making you unhappy? They're supposed to be fulfilling you. And kind of starting to just speak truth around saying, you know what, like there are other options.